Dun, 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 dun. Hey everybody, it's me, True Power Spine, and this is TP. I am SR Live. Today's date, April 16th, 2019, the year of our Lord. Had a great show last night, for those who might have missed it. We had Major General retired Army, Peter James Gravitt. Excellent man, excellent patriot, excellent citizen. See, I like bringing you guys stories that you might not all get from everywhere else. In this story, and I want to cite the source, Major Payne, a.k.a. Mark from Anaheim. And with the help of grace, because I'm extremely tired, my friends, there's a message from me concerning this. Let's play the clip.
April 15th, 2019. Well played, Herr Trump. As many of you reading this already know with my background, I have spent more than 2 decades appearing on political talk radio shows detailing how psychological warfare is employed against the United States US populace. I am no stranger when it comes to PSYOPS. Hell, I learned well from my World War II era OS-ONI and former sick Nazi mentors. Legendary civil rights activist and comedian Gregory would often seek me out before appearing in person, on air, to pick my brain, to connect the dots when it came to seemingly unrelated events, to leave us in shows and movies. During his Hollywood Walk of Fame star induction ceremony, I asked Greg why was Stevie Wonder there. Because he knew that I had not spoken to Stevie since Steve pumped me for information regarding the death of Secretary of Commerce Ron Brown. And the next day I saw Stevie on television playing piano at the White House for the Clinton family and the Ron Brown family. I then told Greg that I would forgive him if he allowed me to marry Ayanna. Greg began cracking up and said that he would call me later to discuss that, but I digress. On a more serious note, shortly before his death, Greg and I were having a telephonic conversation related to the Trump campaign. One of the things that I told Greg was that I was very familiar with who Trump really is, and how after more than 2 decades of writing personal checks to support a good cause, when the Los Angeles Police Memorial Foundation began holding benefit golf tournaments at Trump's Rancho Palos Verdes golf course, I refused to donate in any money. I also told him how Ivana Trump was my shadow sponsor when I was accepted into an exclusive organization. Finally, I told Greg that Donald J. Trump may be many things. However, what he is not is stupid. He has always surrounded himself with masters at psychological warfare such as Trump's mentor Roy Cohn. They know exactly how to manipulate the media to foment hatred, anger, while accomplishing their desired goals. Today, April 16, 2019, I posted following on several of my Facebook FB sites. I also posted it on 2 FB sites with other administrators, including the FB group site, Friends of the Progressive Movement. Michael Brown Parler. How I miss the saddle sniffers at steeplechase events in Camden, South Carolina SC and Aiken, SC. Along with the golf ball sniffers from Aiken, North Augusta during the Masters. The first time that Tiger Woods won, folks joked that since the winner chooses the meal, that the following year, the clubhouse would be serving watermelon and fried chicken. Now that Woods has won again, I see that Herr Trump is already setting the trap to divide the black community even more by inviting Woods to the White House. Note, because the individual chose to show her ignorance in a public forum on social media, I have chosen not to redact her name. Additionally, the typographical errors are hers, not mine. Lisa and Nikolai. The only person bringing race into this is you. You. Black people don't belong exclusively to any political party and can vote how they choose and also visit who they like. That is the problem with we white progressives, liberals. We think people of color cannot think for themselves, especially if their politics do not align with ours. As Nina Turner said, you have to earn the black vote, like it or not. Tiger Woods actually knows Trump, and he can accept an invitation if he chooses, as his choices are his own. Too funny. I just had a progressive white woman claiming that I am the one injecting race, because Tiger Woods knows Trump and can accept an invitation if he wants. She even had the audacity to quote confused Nina Turner, as if that was supposed to impress me. I could not care less regarding Tiger Woods' political affiliations, friends in the White House. However, what I do care about is the fact that individuals such as legendary civil rights activist and comedian Dick Gregory went to his grave without ever being considered for a Presidential Medal of Freedom. Greg had been beaten and jailed on several occasions fighting for human rights. Meanwhile, Woods wins a golf tournament, and because Trump is his buddy, Woods is now entitled to receive a Presidential Medal of Freedom because of a comeback in golf which some claim was allegedly orchestrated to capitalize on 16-to-1 odds in Las Vegas betting. Bestowing such a prestigious award upon someone undeserving is what will be remembered by conscious blacks, while such deserving blacks as Dick Gregory remained ignored. This is yet another example of exactly why the progressive movement is doomed to not only destroy the Democratic Party, but also to guarantee 4 more years of Donald Trump. Meanwhile, the psychological warfare continues, and for those who remember, Dick Gregory specifically stated that Tiger Woods would never win another Masters event until whites were ready to once again use him for their hidden agenda. Well played, Herr Trump. Well played. Semper Fi. Major Payne.
Thank you, Grace. That was Grace, our UK correspondent, reading that press release from Mark from Anaheim on his Facebook page, Crazy Days and Confused. Isn't it a shame, friends, that we have Dick Gregory, who will be passed up on a Presidential Medal or National Medal of Freedom? How much knowledge has Brother Dick given you personally when you listen to some of his old speeches that are still archived in video format? Words still ring true. Now, I know a lot of people have been taking slaps at Brother Gregory since his passing. Not going to name them and the rhetoric that they're talking about, but it's out there. But brothers and sisters, it does not need to be validated by haters. The wisdom, if you find wisdom in his speeches, in his books, I'm talking specifically about Dick Gregory now, then that's all that matters, because it helped you. It made you feel good. It helped you to understand this world in which we find ourselves living in. Now, most of you who are in the chat room, I know you guys know, but the ones who will hear this on playback, last month, black churches were getting set on fire left and right down the south. Hardly any news about it. Notre Dame catches fire. And there's already probably a GoFundMe with millions of dollars in it. I say this not to be like, they shouldn't rebuild it and all that. No. I say this to let you understand that it doesn't matter how religious you are, yet again. Doesn't matter how much pain you're going through and all that. What matters is who is really in control. Who's really running the show, guys? And unfortunately, it's people that hate you, Lindell. It's people that despise you, the real Birdman Jr. It's people that want to murder you 100 murders. It's people that want to put you in captivity, Kevin King. And it's people who want to totally not see you succeed, Brother Cobra Immortal. Those are the people running this world. So when you go out with this fabulous ideal and this misconception how things are really getting down, and you're wondering why you fell, and you turn on people who look like you because you feel they don't support you enough or they don't recognize how genius you are. Remember this, fool. People that don't have money can't contribute money. So if you're looking towards a certain demographic, if your message is just dialed in to just one, is Big Daddy Mark Powell. Okay. Let me get this right off the bat. You know, as you all know, I do, talk to Mark on, numerous occasions. Was chatting with him last night. Brought that up. Hey, man, when you going to come back on the show? And he's like, no time soon. And you have to accept that. You have to respect that. I did ask him, when I have General Gravitz back on, whether, like the day before, I'm going to contact him so he can set me up with some questions. And he's like, totally cool, bro. I got you. But once again, guys, he is busy. Seriously. I mean, not to be ignorant, but this show is no big multi-platform. And even if it was, it's not even about that. Mark's not really in this for the money. He's not really in this for the fame or the glory. He's just in this to try to get people to be energized about doing the research themselves. So first off, he doesn't have to come out and validate what he's saying because you would already know it to be true. And then we can move on to other topics to really promote the growth of this thing. But until we start putting in our own research, until we start dredging up the stories that have been buried, can you tell him, Blunt? Can you tell he's burnt out on the whole global conspiracy talk, which is fine? Well, Brother Murder, and once again, dude, I'm totally frank and I'm totally honest. I don't bullshit nobody on this show. I don't give any expectations. That's why I get upset when I try to set up a show and it doesn't pan out. But the global conspiracy it's no longer a conspiracy, brother. It's totally out in the open. And yes, it's going to succeed. And yes, you're going to have to deal with Agenda 21. You're going to have to deal with Operation Garden Plot. You're going to have to deal with Rex 84. You're going to have to deal with poisoning of your food, water, and air and ground. And you better pray, brother. If you're locked into the 3D world, that is, like if you're all about what you see, taste, smell, and touch, and feel, and all this good stuff, you better hope that you have enough money for them cyber implants, cybernetics, the upgrades. If not, after they waste us people who have our silly religious convictions or our moral fortitude or ideals of true privacy and sovereignty, that's what I said the other day. I hope all you anti-human God haters, I hope you all live forever, man. Point blank. I hope, good, you get the earth, you get a part of the creation. Yay. You can distort it, debase it, twist it up however you want, because the creator can recreate it at any time he sees fit. But you guys already showed your cards. You already let not only the world know, but the universe know as well as your intent. You see, the deal is most atheists, and I want to talk about this for a second. Most atheists truly realize most so-called religious people don't really believe that. Whatever they're espousing, it does not matter. They know that they don't really believe it. Now, people go along with these spiritual, I guess, doctrines or way of conducting oneself, spiritual tenets, for a whole host of reasons. Perhaps they were born into a family that worships a certain way. Perhaps their lover worships a certain way. Perhaps a charismatic individual for some cult or religious group enticed them by sweetness of the ear to convert them. But at the end of the day, most people don't have the stand-up gut convictions that many espouse to have. And we can see this in our day-to-day operations. Brother Murder, if you're sitting here telling me, you love your fellow human, you're here to help, and we see video of you literally like hurdling homeless people on the sidewalk just so that you don't have to smell them, you don't have to interact with them. You basically don't have to tolerate them in any way, shape, or fashion. Once you jump over several bodies, you get to a clearing, you walk on about your way. You don't have to hear, hey, bro, you got $1? You got some change, bro? Hey, bro, can you help me out? I'm down on my luck. You don't have to listen to all that. And I'm not begrudging anyone who doesn't want to go through the gauntlet of panhandling. I get it. I get it. I really do. And I'm not going to sit here on my high horse and be like, I would run and embrace, a homeless fella or a lady who hasn't bathed, maybe doo-doo stains in their underwear. I'm just going to roll up on that and just give her a big old hug. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm apprehensive about germs, just like anyone should be, with, reasonable understanding of germs and how they operate. But I would never look down on that human, meaning I would never just talk crazy to that person. I would never disrespect that person. And if I actually did have the extra money, I probably would give the person a couple of bucks. Go and get yourself a nip. Go and get yourself a box of squares. Do what you got to do without any prerequisites. We really have to get to a point, brothers and sisters, to where we truly understand the real score. Not the rhetoric score, not the emotional score, not the stuff that gets you all hyped up. Oh my God, yes. Oh, I see the light. You don't see nothing. You're blind. Most of you are still in the same state as you were when you were born, ignorant to the facts. But yet we hear a video, or we read a book, or we see a play, or someone with real intelligence comes through and raps at us, and we take this and we kind of repeat it without doing our own research, coming up with our own conclusions based upon the information presented on whatever topic. When I realized that I had everything backwards, hey, can you call in, brother? Here, let me punch up the call-in line. Call in and share your story. You can call in anonymous. I don't care, whatever. Just call this number, call in, and we're going to put you on the air. That's a call-in line. It's open. Actually, let me check. Yes, it's open. So you can call in, share the story, and let's have, I don't want to really talk about the Notre Dame thing or the people. All right, cool. Just call in whenever you can, brother, and I'm just going to continue on with the continuance. Let's jump over here to the news. Now, I don't know about how many of you guys really trust Bernie Sanders? Show of hands, please. If you trust Bernie Sanders, if you trust Bernie Sanders, just put your hand up. Because mine are on my table. I don't trust Bernie. I know people can be like, oh, he was good back in the day. He helped organize a rally and, fed the homeless. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if he fed the homeless, maybe. I'm just throwing that in there for effects. Look at this. I want to show you guys something. Dun, 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 dun. Out of these people, who do you trust? Who do you trust? Do you trust Bernie Sanders? Do you trust Elizabeth Warren? Do you trust some random guy with a microphone? And do you trust Kamala Harris? Or do you trust President Donald J. Trump? Still in a state of emergency, guys. What could that possible dynamics do? Think about that for 1 second. It's voting days. Oh my God. We just had a nuclear attack on the United States soil. What dynamics could that do to the election? We already know about the private army that's being constructed as we speak. We already know that the Black Caucus is about as effective at this point in time as a Girl Scout troop. We already have seen with our own eyes the documents pertaining to different government operations that were to be set in motion in the event of emergency. I actually tried to share information about the FEMA trains and all that. Them jokers aren't to be trusted. None of them. You got that, real Birdman Jr. You got that, brother. And I'm not doing no hocus pocus here. This ain't no, I'm looking into my crystal ball and I see that no, I'm not. This is reality. They're untrustworthy because they tell you. In their actions, my friends, what they really feel. Elizabeth Warren is guilty, my friend. Is she ever dressed up as Pocahontas when she was claiming to be Native American? Is she ever dressed up as Pocahontas or any Aboriginal, I guess? Whoa. Let's accept this. Hello, welcome to the show.
Brother Pat, how are you doing, sir?
I am doing good, sir. I believe this is Brother Murders. 100 Murders on the line.
Correct, yes, sir.
All right, now share us your story.
Well, I called JBS yesterday night. Well, right before they closed the lines down. And they gave me a guy that's one of their local representatives. And what I learned, they don't have like meeting places necessarily, but they do hold meetings. And I think I know the guy who's one of their members, which is funny. His last name is Morrow. Yeah, I did some homework on the guy, and I can't find anything about him as far as the name I was given and who I think he is.
And who do you think he is? Do you have any further information?
No, I'm still doing my homework. I just got his name yesterday.
Gotcha. So how easy was it for you to social engineer through the gatekeepers at the John Birch Society's office?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, sir. It's a little bit of a disruption on the line.
My bad. I had a. How difficult was it for you to circumnavigate around the gatekeepers when you called there to try to actually talk to a human being?
Right.
Was it hard for you, or were they like, "Oh, just put you on hold," and they sent someone? You know, like how long did you talk to them?
Let me see. First, there was your generic computer-generated, robot that answers the phone. Press 1 for this. Press 2 for that.
Right.
Once I pressed 1 for JBS, I was able to get an agent of theirs, and she was pretty polite. I asked her some basic stuff before I got down to who could I meet in my area to, become a member and talk more about John Birch, the history of the society, so on and so forth. This lady couldn't tell me anything.
What? I
asked her, I am so serious. I asked this lady, ma'am, who is John Birch? I don't know, but I could point you to someone who knows.
Get out of here.
I'm serious.
This is basic info. Everybody.
Then I asked, yes, sir.
Oh, go ahead.
Then I asked the lady, what year did JBS get started and who was the founder? I can't tell you that at this point in time. It's like every little basic question I asked, she couldn't answer. And then I just kicked it up a notch just to mess with her. I asked her, was Mike Pence a JBS member? She, once again, I can't answer that question. I can send you some materials and all that, but I'm expecting someone who works for JBS to actually know who's a part of JBS, especially if it might be the vice president himself.
Well, but brother Murder now, could it not show us just how compartmentalized the organization has become?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what they do. Inner circle, outer circle. The outer circle, all it does is the inner circle tells them to do.
Exactly.
Tells them to know also.
But that in itself is scary because that leads us to a situation where I was just following orders when I threw them in the oven.
Very familiar, yes.
I am, please, you have to do this undercover work. We have to infiltrate. It'll be just our thing. You'll be placed upon the confidential informant roles at that point. And we are going to bring to light some of the trivial points of the organization.
Right. I mean, the reason I was asking this young lady the questions was I was just trying to see if I was going to get a different answer from what I'd already researched about JBS. And the fact that she was providing the answers kind of just threw me off for a minute. Like, you know nothing. You don't know who John Birch is. You can't tell me about Robert Welch. You can't tell me the year they got started. You can't tell me about all the ads that were posted by Robert Welch the day of and after JFK was shot in Dallas. It's ridiculous.
And the Martin Luther King ads they ran. He was nothing but a commie. They ran ads with Martin Luther King in it, too. I should pull that up so that people can see. JBS King ad. Yes, hold on. John Birch Society King ad. Right.
And I mean, the story behind John Birch itself is very interesting. He wasn't even born in America. He was born in a city called Landore, India.
Where is that at?
It's a town by a different name currently in India, but that was under British India. His parents were missionaries.
So they were on the whole, we're going to apostolize to the world. Hey, Brother Leonard, welcome to the show. So
absolutely, the brown people don't know anything. The yellow people don't know anything. Let's show them our way of life as if that is the only way of life.
Well, white Jesus, does provide a valuable cornerstone in the perpetuation of racial superiority.
Absolutely. In this day and age, of course.
And that's what's so cool is because brothers like you and others, we're all waking up almost simultaneously. We're all coming together, waking up, realizing the fix is in. Literally, Brother Murder, we are playing Monopoly. Excuse me, we're playing Monopoly. And unfortunately, all the prophecy has already been bought up. You have to literally use your finger. All the little symbols are already bought up. And unfortunately, they're trying to rig the game now, Brother Leonard. you won't even get $200 when you pass go.
Absolutely.
Now, how can we continue down this road, bro? Now, hey, now, what was your thoughts, Brother Murder, on the transgender issue that me and Dr. Short brought up? Do you believe that a man that was born a man or a boy, okay, let's just be correct, and he grows up, then crosses over, does he have the right to compete against your daughter, your mom, your sister, your cousins, or your lady?
Absolutely not, because you may be a woman mentally, you may be a woman. I mean, I don't know. It's just so much to consider. But for the most part, if we're talking about a man who feels like right now I'm a woman, I have to do feminine things, but you still have a man's hardware, you should pretty much, if you get what I'm saying, you have to pretty much go against other men.
Exactly.
Because physically, you're leaps and bounds ahead of women.
Yes. I mean, I got a picture of Martin Luther King up right now for the TV viewers, okay? Now, do you really think, oh, okay, cool. So you see, now, do you really think Martin Luther King, with his hand up in the air, talking about, I see a day when all transgenders can go to the bathroom with the sex that they identify with, and they can beat up girls in a boxing ring? I have a dream. Now, do you really see that?
No, because that's not necessarily equality. And I don't have a thing against transgenders or anything of that sort.
Yeah, I agree with you on
But
that.
everything has its place. And quite frankly, it's hard to disseminate the place that transgenders have.
Well, wouldn't it, okay, now, this just me being a layman, you know, I'm no doctor or nothing, even though I talk to a lot of them. But when you look at this thing, they say it in their name. They're transitioning from male to female or female to male. Now, the only group that really meets the qualification of a transitioning community would be the hermaphroditic community, which gets no media, is as if they don't even exist. But those are the only people who really should have a choice which bathroom to use, because they literally have both sets of plumbing.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just coming from a place where things either are or are not. Things are either yes or no. And with the transgender issue, it feels like a lot of maybe. Yeah. There's a lot in the middle that's not really, it's a gray area. And it's purposefully manipulated gray area. And I don't necessarily blame transgenders as everyday people, but rather the politicians, the media people who call themselves speaking up for transgenders, you know, thinking they know best. And they really don't.
No, they do not. They don't even know how to control their own, and I'm just using news reports, but their own sexual aspirations. With the Lolita Express, Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes, of course. Trump and others are very much tied to, they covered for Epstein, even though, yes, he's a legally registered sex offender. That was a slap on the wrist. He kept his money. He kept all his planes. He still gets to go wherever he wants to go.
And what do me and you have to say against that? Not a thing, because he's already been exonerated by the courts. See, this is why everybody focuses on money, Brother Murder. This is why everybody's like, I don't care about being righteous. I don't care about having morality. I don't care about none of that. You show me the dollars. I want the dollars, because they know once they get the dollars, you see, now they can go out and abuse women. They can go out and abuse children. They can talk crazy to grown men. And if you step out of line, their goons will pummel you. See, this is what this thing's all about.
Absolutely. There's a little anecdote I wanted to share concerning law of man, so on and so forth. If you turn the word law backwards, what do you get?
The word wall?
Correct. That wall is for what?
It is for confinement.
Right. To confine who? Because as you can see in our society, certain men are what? Above that wall. They are above that what? The law.
They're above the confinement.
Exactly, but at the same time, that wall confines who? Everyone else, us. Everyday average Joe is confined to what? The wall is confined to the law.
Yes. It's in our heads. It's in our consciousness. It's in our brains. We self-police. oh, Brother Murder, I ain't going to try doing that. It ain't going to work out for me anyways. That's how they got us. And then, after that, what do you worship? I mean, for the most part, most people who worship are worshiping concepts that were founded in the Council of Nicene, right? Which is odd because the Catholics don't allow their people to even own a Bible. But yet they put the Bible together in this first kind of form.
Correct. It's very much an archaic. I'm kind of hearing myself in the background, excuse me. But it's very much an archaic religious experience for these people, very much dating back to the Dark Ages. In those days, men did not have Bibles, nor could they read. The only people who could read were the nobility and members of the clergy, and in some cases, members of the merchant class, depending on how wealthy they were and their bloodlines, so on and so forth. But if me and you are everyday average Joe working out in the field, we can't read one word from the next. We don't know stop from go necessarily.
Exactly. Nor could we actually have the opportunity to indulge because we're too busy trying to get them crops in. We're too busy trying to chop down those trees. Hey, Brother Nick, welcome to the show. But the only
time me and you would ever see a book is what? On Sunday when the priest in his nice robes and his choir boys comes out, steps in front of everybody, tells us what he wants you to know, what he wants you to understand, what he wants you to interpret, closes his book, goes back and does whatever with his, with his boys.
And we know what they do.
PG-13.
Yes.
If you know. If you don't, do your research.
But see, do you not see the tidal wave of that? Everything you do is kind of building up spiritual energy. All right. Let's say that you're out smacking people and just doing the knockout game or whatever, something stupid. That psychic energy is building up. Now, some people say it's karma, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe in none of that. But I do know that energy does build up. And if allowed to come to its full destiny, it will blow up in your face. Now, sometimes it doesn't come to full destiny. But more times than not, it does. And you mock my words. We're going to find more of these little cathedrals popping up in flames as the a population of European atheists grows and the intolerance for the religious dogma is no longer there. You're going to see more churches burn.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, sir. As it was mentioned in the Bible, I can't quote the exact verse, but from what I do understand, these people have absolutely corrupted and just destroyed, as far as integrity, this Catholic Church. And for thousands of years, they've used this church as a tool of power.
Yes.
Now we live in a day and age where they have to destroy the institution while doing what? Maintaining the power.
Yes.
That's why they're burning down the Notre Dame. That's why you have so-called religious intolerance. That's why you have these low-level priests. A couple of weeks ago, I'm sure you kept up with it. The third highest ranking American Catholic official was caught up in a sex scandal.
Not surprising.
It's a diversion. That's what they do. They tear off the weakest parts to make the stronger parts stronger. If me and you are, both part of the church, and I know you do stuff with kids, I do stuff with kids, but I hold higher rank than you, and I know the heat is coming. I know this is the phase of the plan. I'm sorry, Brother Pat, but you got to take the fall.
Right. Not only do I got to take my fall, but I got to keep the secret. Keep the upper hires above. It was just me acting independent. None of the other fathers and cardinals knew about it. And on the real tip, everybody's in on it up there. Everybody's in on it.
It's really the guy who picked the shortest stick that day. It's just that's your turn. You gotta roll with it. But to keep your mouth shut.
Yes.
That's the thing. These guys get caught, but they're never going to point out other fathers or other members of the clergy. It'll never happen. Never.
Because, unfortunately, we keep on thinking it's just isolated to just the clergy. But it goes beyond the clergy. It starts hitting some of those public defenders and the judges and some of the political figures. They're all getting down. Oh, come on up to Father McNally's. He wants to give a special prayer. And little altar boy Bartholomew will be there. Next thing you know, all these rich fools are going up in there. Because don't forget, they can do this sinful stuff, brother, murder, and then they can buy a indulgence from the church that supposed to get free them from all the sin.
Right, and the thing is, a lot of these secret societies that do have ties to the Catholic Church, I'm willing to say all of them to some extent, depending on how far up the ladder you make it, you become above the law. You only become subject to the Pope and his will, which basically means what? He's the only guy that can touch you, honestly, or whoever he deems, necessary to deal with you. That's the only man that can touch you. You aren't necessarily above the law, which is why, yeah, these priests are getting defrocked. And guess what? They're not doing jail time.
No, they're not. And even if they did, think about it. They're homosexuals. That would be like taking a straight man, brother, murder. We found you guilty of robbing a bank. Now we're gonna throw your ass in this brothel for the next 30 years. I hope you have fun. Right. Come on, they're throwing your ass in a brothel, dude, for the next 30. Yes, you are going to have fun. I guarantee it. So. We had to
not to cut you off, but there's no saying where I'm from. It's almost like dropping off a priest at boys' camp.
Oh,
because how are you going to have a bad time? Well, where's the punishment?
Oh, that's dirty, dude. And he'll still use this little snaky things. He'll see someone crying. Oh, my son, are you in sorrow? And worm his way in. Because see, where the Catholics, I think, were doing it. They weren't like when I think of rape, I think of some savage busting down the door and taking what he wants, right? No.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are grooming these little. Hey, would you like a new pair of shoes? Oh, of course this dude would. He's living in an orphanage. Oh, would you like a good meal? Of course he would. This guy's eating porridge, and then they groom these guys. And he's like, I've done so much for you, my son. Now it's time for you to do something for me. It's called blowing,
right.
And then it's beep, beep, beep. And, we have to understand grooming. See, even we have been groomed to many respects. In the way we think, the language we're using. I'm not saying we're being groomed for some nefarious purpose, like some sort of sex slavery. No. I'm saying we're being groomed to be docile sheeples for the most part. People just conscious enough to understand that these people are in power. You're not. Follow these people's lead and you'll be okay.
Yes, sir, absolutely. I'm willing to take it a step further and even say we're not even sheeple. We're just sheep to these people. We are nothing more than livestock.
Wow.
They don't see the humanity in us. They don't care.
And
these people can kill millions, just like they did Poland in World War II. The Polish country, the Polish people, I can argue, took it the worst as far as nationality. Because everybody got a piece of Poland during that time. The Russians, they gave most of Poland away to the Russians. You got the Germans who ran straight through Poland. I mean, it's just ridiculous the extent of power these people have just to mold this world the way they want it. They will do whatever it takes.
Right.
Men, women, children, dogs, cats, they could care less.
In fact,
these are powerful people who don't even get their hands dirty. All they do is give out the order. General so-and-so, I want you to march through freaking anywhere in Europe, and I want you to do what you need to do with your men. If we blow up a few churches, so be it. If a couple of tenements with poor Germans and Polish people get blown up, so what? But guess what? Don't blow up the Gorky plant in Russia. Don't touch the Notre Dame in France. There's certain places these people won't touch. War is supposed to be war. Everything is off the table. I am totally against you. But if you pay attention to what happened during that time, there are several places that never got touched. And you're telling me they'll bomb a non-military target like what's that city? What's that city? Excuse me, I'm forgetting. Dresden. Yes, they firebombed Dresden. And Dresden was not even a military target. There was no factories, no plants, no bases there. They bombed that whole city.
For what? What was the strategic? Did the report mention or give any explanation to why?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, sir.
Did the report that you was reading about Dresden, did it elaborate to maybe why? I mean, was it like a part of a greater effort to go deeper into the Reich Empire, or was it just giggles?
Yes, sir. From what I was told, it was basically an attack against the Protestant Germans. From what I've been told, the Third Reich was really the reincarnation of the Teutonic Order of the 1200s, the 1300s. And basically, they were allowed to purge Europe of its Jews and basically any undesirables on behalf of the Jesuit order. I'm still reading a book concerning the matter, but for the most part, I do believe it, because what sense does that make? An absolute non-military target. Millions of people dead. Firebomb, burned to death for no reason. Churches gone. Churches that have been there for years, hundreds of years. Same thing they did with Coventry in England.
Yes.
They bombed Coventry and didn't touch a single other part of England.
No Salisbury, none
of the UK.
And you know, also to add to that, I believe it was Mark that told us that they didn't even bother to bomb the trains of Jews. You know, now I say don't bomb the cars with the Jews in it. Just blow up the engine that's pushing it or pulling it. But they wouldn't even do that. They let those trains go unmolested with soldiers on it and everything.
Absolutely. And what is the, excuse me, if you can help me recall, what is the famous, not German, Jewish extermination camp? What is his name?
It was Dachau, Auschwitz.
Auschwitz. There was a factory in Auschwitz. If you weren't going in to free the Jewish people, you could have at least bombed the factory and severely helped the Allied war effort.
Yes.
Auschwitz was untouched until, troops came in near the end of the war and discovered what was going on. Black troops, no less.
Patton's troop used to tank to bulldoze the door. But, do you happen to have any information? Did the Polish people ever get reparations from the war, or was it just the Jews?
I doubt it was the Polish people on the basis of them being, Polish. I doubt it. I severely doubt it, because after the war, they handed over large portions of Poland, Hungary to the Russians. And they weren't giving out reparations. And Stalin took over, and what did he do? His great purges. Well, the purges were in the 30s, but as long as he was there as a leader, he purged pretty much anyone who he felt was a threat, even his own men. And it's ironic I bring that up, because prior to World War II in the 1930s, he purged some of his generals, his lieutenants, his own even intelligence agents. He purged everyone. That was his job. He was the Grand Inquisitor of Russia.
Oh, my God. And he was doing Stalin's bidding? I mean, is this when they were sending everybody to the Gulag?
Oh, correct. Gulags in Siberia, gulags bordering Kazakhstan, all throughout Europe. Absolutely.
See, this is the history. When I grew up, in the 80s, this is why Russia was our enemy. Because, we had all this I guess, bogus history at this point, maybe propaganda talking about how evil they were, how they lock you up for the smallest infringement, almost makes you think of Moscow as a city with clouds and rain all the time.
Right. From what I have learned, this is basically one of many monsters that the United States created. Leon Trotsky was funded by Wall Street. Well, the overall Bolshevik Revolution was funded by Wall Street. There's a book called The Bolshevik Revolution and Wall Street by a scholar known as Anthony C. Sutton. He writes a very extensive book on the matter. And basically, Leon Trotsky, prior to coming over to Russia, he had an apartment in New York City. He had a chauffeured limousine. He had a refrigerator. The refrigerator wasn't even invented. Well, it wasn't even out that long as far as commercially available. So, I mean, if you had a refrigerator in the 1930s, you had some money.
Right.
He had his own apartment. And as far as what Anthony C. Sutton discovered, this man only made $600 during his time in New York. But he has over $600 worth of stuff. You get what I'm saying? The refrigerator, the limousine, the whole apartment in downtown, New York? Yeah. I think it was in Manhattan.
who's funding? Did it ever say who funded that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, sir.
Did the book ever says who funded Lenin and the Trotskys of the world back then? I mean, was it the Rockefellers? Was it the ships?
Well, one name in particular that's mentioned in the book is Avril Harriman of Harriman Brothers, Harriman Brown Brothers, or something like that. This big stock. There's just this huge exchange firm. They've been there for like 100 or so more years. Yeah, they're very much Brown Brothers, Harriman Brothers. I can't remember at this point in time, but definitely they're involved. Prescott Bush, the granddaddy of George H.W. and the father of Daddy Bush, as we call him, or as Mark calls him.
So, hold on. I thought he was a starch Nazi, a Jew-hating individual.
Oh, he was, but I mean, these guys spread their money all around.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I mean, after a certain point, as long as I make money from the deal, ideology tends to take a break.
Yeah, they got that, but we don't. We're ideologue to the bitter end. So, when you look at the research you're doing on World War II, are you almost coming away with a reality that the Germans basically kind of won the war?
The high-ranking Nazis who are allowed to leave, absolutely, through the rat lines that the Vatican supported. Of course, these guys made their way to South America. I believe Himmler likely made his way to Sweden and probably died in Sweden. You can make the Count Bernadette, King Gustav, I might be wrong, but King of Sweden at that time, Count Bernadette, Himmler connection. More than likely, Himmler made his way out through Germany to Sweden. Hitler died in Argentina, I think in the 90s, like 92, 93, and there was an Argentinian newspaper that showed his picture.
Really?
Yes, I believe a lot of these high-ranking Nazis, well, not a matter of belief, it's a matter of fact, that these guys escaped. That's not even taught in books. Reinhard Gehlen, one of Hitler's highest-ranking generals, he taught the Mossad being the Israeli intelligence. He went from killing the Jews to showing the Jews how to do what? The same thing, basically. How to be sneaky, how to kill millions, so on and so forth. Reinhard Gehlen.
Wow. That is, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, I always looked at like the, in fact, let me just pop a picture up right now of the Jewish political party that's in control under Netanyahu. And when this picture loads up, you're going to see what I'm saying. Look at that. When you look at these people, if you know anything about genetics and you know anything about lineage, none of these people in this picture are genetically related to Abraham, to Moses, to Jesus. I mean, obviously they're related to Adam and Eve, as all humans are. But, these are not that specific DNA, because remember now, don't they always say the reason why the flood came is so that the DNA wouldn't be corrupted, blah, blah, blah. All right. Well, then what sense would it make to have the so-called Jews not even be the genetic people that you tried to preserve during the damn flood?
Exactly. The flood was to kill the Nephilim, the children of Satan, not children, but the other fallen angels and the children of those fallen angels. But somehow, some way, they still survived.
Well, come on. It's called, if you're a fallen angel or demon or whatnot, in essence, you're kind of physical and spiritual. So I would imagine that they could possibly fly. And the Nephilim, the half human, half angelic being, look, when we start looking at these stories like this, and you understand how the geography of the world is, okay, we got to put two and two together. Either a couple things could be going on. One, we got a totally misinterpretation of the deal somehow. Or two, it's just not accurate, bro. It's just not accurate. You're going to sit here and tell me that all the animals from Australia came All the animals from Hawaii and all these other islands went all the way to the Middle East.
Right.
You're saying that.
Right.
All right. So when you're standing on these things and you're claiming that, see, I don't claim all that. I claim that there's just a Most High God. And these books, because the book was not given to Adam and Eve. It wasn't given to Moses. Now he got the commandments. But all that stuff was given to those people at that time. That's why it was written in that language for them.
Right. I mean, it's before Eve met the snake, basically Lucifer in a reptilian form. They didn't need the book. They lived in paradise.
Right. But as soon as they fell, that should be the time that they should have got the book. So they could have handed it down from all the generations leading up to David and the nation of Israel.
Right. Right. Correct.
But nobody wants to talk about that because that craps on too many people's sacred cows. It makes people uncomfortable and squirmy in their chairs. You know, especially like when me and Brother Abdullah, no, it wasn't Brother, it was Randy Short, Dr. Short again, talking about, the prophecy where Jesus said that there should be no stone set upon the other stone. And how, he was saying the city, but I thought it was just pertaining to the temple. But now check this out. If that's true, then how the hell can you have a Wailing Wall? Because those are stones stacked on stones going up quite high. They're no stones supposed to be on top of each other, remember? See, when we're dealing with these biblical prophecies, as they were, they have to be 100. They can't be 10%. They can't be 90%. It has to be 100%. Or else we're dealing with something that is false.
Absolutely. God's word is absolute, not subject to interpretation, not subject to personal opinion, so on and so forth. He said it one time and he said it forever. As far as I'm concerned, as far as I understand.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. Listen, it's written on your heart. That was written. The word is written in your heart, meaning that you are the book. You, the person that I'm talking to, you are the book. You know what's right and wrong, man. You know what's good and bad. You know these things. It's intuitive. It's natural.
It's absolutely intrinsic. You have a sense of it. Whether or not you follow it is a different question.
Now that's the $1 million question. Are you going to follow righteousness? Or are you going to follow the BS and selfishness? Now, this is the type of conversation that I'm talking about. Now, when we look at Jesus, don't do that, pimp, I am lying. Wait, this is from my brother David. No middleman, for we do not worship the Son. We worship the one that created it. Absolutely. Jesus, don't do that, pimp, I am lying. Listen, you can believe whatever you like to believe. Honestly. I mean, but the reality is most people who are espousing entrenched religious dogma, no matter where it's coming from, deep down, I'm saying they really don't believe it. They really don't. You know, because you really believe you don't have to run around here, brother, murder. If you don't give me $200, then you're going to hell, brother, because you're not tithing and all this crap. Come on, man.
Well,
that's
I'll be
fear.
going to hell with gasoline draws on. Sorry, I ain't got it.
Hey, hold on, but that's a good point. That's a good point. What happens when you are poor and you literally don't have your little... You got to check this out. You got Glitterbug Preacher up there singing and dancing, juking and jiving, making you feel like a piece of shit sitting there in the pew talking about, we have brothers, sisters, don't want to name no names, and they're staring dead at you. I notice you haven't tithed for the week or for the month. Try and put you on Blast Street. How do you think that really makes real men and women feel? The God...
Depending on the person. If you're somebody like me, I'm not paying that preacher a lick of attention because I know you're trying to pay that Cadillac bill next month. You're not really using that money for good purposes. I mean, you will on the surface. You might have the occasional bake sale for the church.
But you're still making money.
Event for the kids, but the rest of the year, every other Sunday of the week, of the month, you're pocketing that money on average. Not all preachers, but on average.
And let's say that they're using it, to buy their food, to buy their groceries, which all humans have these coincidental needs. I get that. But to belittle and berate others for being poor and in essence, you're a spiritual panhandler. That's kind of disingenuous, and I think a lot of people are seeing that for what it is, and it's making them basically retract from that glitter bug, the faith healing fakeness. Oh, come in here, brother murder. Oh, I see you got that bad knee. I'm gonna put these hands on you, and you jump up.
Mess on earth. I see it on TV. I used to go to a church where that was the regular, occasion, pretty much. Somebody come up to the altar, bring you $5 with you, and I'll suddenly heal your paralysis, your cataracts, your broken knee, you name it. And I really feel like in some cases, especially on TV, I forget this guy's name, but it's actors, or at least somebody he paid beforehand to come up there. Okay, you're in the wheelchair, roll up there, and I'm going to do the blessing of Jesus all of a sudden on top of your forehead. And now all of a sudden, all this modern medicine couldn't work for you, but me putting my dirty hand on your forehead now allows you to walk, now allows you to run around and do all the stuff you couldn't do. I don't believe God or Jesus works that way. Only man that could heal you was Jesus in human form. As far as like putting his hand on you and bestowing that blessing upon you, that was the only man to do it. And he really wasn't a man. So you get what I'm saying? Nobody can replicate that, but yet preachers hold themselves to that esteem where I can pretty much be your God. You want a blessing, you come to me. Bring your money, bring your 5, 10, in some cases 100, 200, because some of us are generous fools. The heart is in the right place, but the money isn't going to the right place. You get where I'm going?
Oh, I got where you're going. I totally dig that. What you're saying there is making total sense to me. It's sort of like if we played a little mind game, right? And I go up, I got the spirit, brother murder. I'm talking to one of your dead relatives right now. It's a female. This is the name. Tesla, Teresa, Terry, Sherry. Does that mean anything to you?
Go down the whole list so they get it right. Terry, what's his name? Taco.
and then you feed into this, right? And I'm like, I'm seeing that they died really fast. It was so unexpected. You wanted to say something to them, and they wanted to say something to you. I have a message. Does the shoe under the bed mean anything to you?
Oh, yeah, I heard that expression before, yes.
And then the next thing you know, you're going to be sucking out your, getting out your ATM card, and I'm going to be like, well, now give me the 3-digit code on the back, and it's a wrap.
Right.
I mean, people,
you want to know the best, I'm not to cut you off, but you want to know the best way to trip these type of guys up?
How?
Ask them what their day job is. Ask them what do they do to make money outside of the church.
Well,
any of them. The last time I've been to church, I was blessed enough to have a pastor who actually did have a day job. So I kind of had a feeling that he wasn't necessarily, for lack of a better term, messing off church money. I genuinely felt like when I did used to go to church, he was pretty much an honest guy. He was working at UPS. But that isn't the case. A lot of these guys, they put on their Sunday's best, as we say down south.
Yep.
They got the nice Armani suit. They pretty much wear the stuff that could pay your whole light bill, your mortgage, whatever. These guys' suits cost a lot of money. They put on the nicest stuff. They stand before you. The hair is all nice, slick back and done. They got on the nice shoes. This is where your money is going. It's for presentation value. It isn't for spiritual, enrichment.
It's glitter bugging. It's like this. Brother Murder, I hear what you're saying. And you got to imagine me eating some fried fish as I'm saying this to you with some spaghetti. Brother, the Lord wants his sons to prosper, brother. Now, I am prospering, and you're not going to stop my blessing. And all his goons will circle you and be like, yeah, that's if you brought this up to the man in his church. All right. You got to understand, when people are duped, They get violent if you point out, hey, brother, sister, do you think that's really spiritually fulfilling? Seeing the pastor there running with this girl, running with the choir director, running around with some deacons over here,
Absolutely. There are several pastors, at least as far as churches out there down south. They're sleeping with at least half of the female congregation, without a doubt.
And
you can tell how they interact after church with certain women, contrary to others. You can tell.
And this is what I'm talking about. This is not the religious game, my friends. This is the pimp game. This is straight up pimping. You say
that one more time for the folks at home. This is the what?
This is the pimp game. You're straight up pimping these people's minds. See, what it is, anybody who's half-ass open and they allow you to get in their minds, you can start working with this person and dealing with this person. And before you know it, that person is funding whatever the fuck you want to fund. If you want to be a gangbanger, they'll fund that. If you want to be a cult leader drinking blood, they'll fund that. It's only because you was able to make them feel validated as a human being in ways their own people don't.
Right. That Sunday pep talk turns people into Play-Doh in the hands of children. It really does.
It absolutely. And that's what it's designed to do. It's almost, I would say, a hypnotic. You got to put people in almost a trance, all right? And some people literally go into the trance, claiming they're touched by the Holy Spirit or whatnot. And they could very well be. It'd be terribly hard to scientifically prove either way what's going on in a person's mind in that respect. But we can see the effects. Because, see, from what I've heard, if you tithe correctly, you're supposed to receive a blessing that cannot be contained. Brother Murder, have you ever saw anybody in any faith have a blessing they could not contain?
No.
So with that being no, on the record, that means no one's tithing correctly. It has to mean either no one's tithing correctly or else they're tithing for the wrong things, because they're not receiving the benefit of what you're supposed to receive when you tithe correctly. And that is an uncontained blessing.
Absolutely. But I would like to also say that we as churchgoers, those of us who still go, we tend to conflate what we give to church to what we truly give to God. God could care less about the little paper slips in your pocket. If I can, speak with that sort of wisdom, God could care less. It's good that you're willing to take what you've earned and worked so hard for throughout the week to put it forth towards a greater purpose. But God, I feel like, is focused on the intrinsic intangibles. Are you becoming a better person because of what you do in the church? Or are you pretty much trying to, buy off the sinning you've been doing the week before, get to church on Sunday, drop a $5 off in the collection plate, I'm good for another week? Instead of putting yourself on a path where, I committed this sin and I won't sin this way ever again. And it didn't take a church to do that. It doesn't take church to do that. It takes understanding.
Yes.
The devil gets us caught up in this material stuff. This is why we value gold and silver and diamonds the way we do. In the eyes of God and the eyes of the Creator, these things are irrelevant.
These things they're part of creation. We're still stuck on stupid, my brother. We're still stuck on worshiping the created instead of the creator. We're going to worship the bacteria. We're going to worship the female body. We're going to worship the fancy car and the big fat house and the jacuzzi. Yes. We're going to worship our job. Hey, I know more about Brother Murder because we work together 10, 12 hours a day than I know about my own kids and wife. We're going to covet each other's loved ones and women, knowing that if you had something in your household, brother, right? I'm going to show you two examples right now. The sneaky way and the proper way. The sneaky way would be for me. Soon as I see Brother Murder take off for work, I tiptoe over there and I start making deals with his old lady without him being around. All right. That's the sneaky way. The real way is I wait and see this brother comes home. And before he gets out that damn door of his car, I'm right there and I'm talking business with him directly. He's the man of the house. He's the president of the house. He's the king. He's the emperor of that household. And that's how you're supposed to deal. And I know that sounds misogynistic and sexist, but that's until we get back to these basic principles of conducting ourselves, then we will never be on the path of righteousness.
Absolutely. If you call yourself being a man, you have to deal with men on that basis, other men. Yes. Especially if you're talking about dealing with someone else's, someone outside of your personal circle, as another stranger. You know, if you're dealing with another man, you need to deal with that man, not his wife. Don't sit here and talk to his kids first. Right. Don't go over there playing with his dog. You need to deal with that man first.
There you go. And man, if some man does that, now women are different. Women can do the sneaky route. That's not sneaky when it's a woman. It's kind of sexist, whatever. It's different. But if you know as a man coming around your apartment, coming around your car, coming around your woman, coming around your girlfriend, coming around whatever, you need to check him. You need to catch this fool and say, hey, partner, what gives? You know, I noticed that you only come around when I'm not around. You better come around when I'm around, and you better not come around when I'm not around. And after you tell him that, if you catch him doing it, you do something. But I can't really say on the show. I'm getting too irate.
Handle your business with that gentleman in question.
There you go.
Have a backbone. If you're righteous in the way you act, you will handle your business accordingly.
There you go. Thank you for saying that way. That's perfect. Brother Murder is exactly on point with that. And I'm not saying being a bully. I'm not talking about being a bully now.
No, not at all. Righteously, that's the key word. You have to deal with people righteously. There's no need for excess violence, excess noise, a fanfare, trying to make yourself bigger than what you are. You have to have a business according to what the business deal is, for lack of a better term.
Yes, this is the conversation that had to have happened. Thank you, brother, for calling in. You know, this is what I'm talking about. This is how real men who are righteous and understand on a level is about. It's not about all this fanfare. It ain't about get your gun or get your knife. No. That's when you lose. And really, I already told you that the best victory in the world is to turn your enemy into your friend.
Correct.
Let me punch up
the greatest battles won are the ones that you never lift a finger for.
Yes. Hold on. Say something, Brother Murder. I'm just typing in a number.
I mean, would you like someone else to get on the line? I don't mind hopping off and just watching the show.
That's fine, yeah. Yeah, I think Brother David's going to call in. I guess he won't get blocked.
Sure, no problem. I'll hop off. But I definitely appreciate the conversation and being able to be a part of the show.
Man, brother, the show would be weaker without you. Straight up. It would be weaker without all of you. You know, we are the show. It's sort of like we are the proverbial church. Not the building, but the spirits inside the building. Where we come together.
It's the spirit within all of us and how we congregate and meet each other. That's right.
You know, nobody comes up in here tripping. Nobody comes up here, oh, you a fool, you stupid, you think this way. No. We show each other respect and dignity off top, and we make it go. And that's how we have some of the conversations we have. That's how we can talk to our brothers and sisters who are Hindu, our brothers and sisters who are Catholic, our brothers and sisters who are Muslims, brothers and sisters who are Christian, brothers and sisters who are atheists, who are whatever. Because we're coming in the right spirit of communication, conversation. Yes. And without that understanding, what do you have, Brother Murray, if you don't have no understanding?
Chaos.
And if you have chaos, what's the solution to that?
Order.
And when whoever inflicts the order has the damn power. And that's the tip of the day.
Absolutely. I'm going to hop offline, but thank you very much, sir.
Man, thank you, sir. You too. Thanks. You know, this is what I'm talking about, guys. You know, about to have fun with you. Ready? Yeah, I'll press one. Call in, Brother David. Call in and be heard. You know, this is what's so beautiful about the internet when we use it correctly. You know, nobody up in this room talking crazy. Nobody. Hey, brother, how you doing, Brother David?
Ooh, Big Pat, what's up, my man?
Man, we're just hanging in here trying to bring the truth one sentence at a time.
See, I'm doing the slow 7-second move, but no worries, I won't trip. What you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the new liberal world order and what is really cracking with this. You know, are we? Do you feel that we're going to head to World War III here imminently? And what is your thought on Passover as well, being on Hitler's birthday?
Okay, I can't say anything about Hitler's birthday because it's that 420 deal.
Yes.
I forgot that first question, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, the first question was, hold on. The new liberal world order. Basically the spreading of democracy, the mantle of that we picked up back in 1945.
Okay, and I can't even go to 1945, but what I can say is this. I don't know too much about Trump, but after the Pennsylvania, those priests and all the other good things that's going on with that type of stuff, all of the presidents before then let it ride, and now it's not riding. So I don't know who's doing it, but it has to be something good.
So do you really? So okay, let's go here. So you obviously know about the QAnon situation, then, right?
Slightly.
Okay. So do you really foresee President Trump having a secret army to pick up high-profile pedophiles?
No.
Oh. Well, then who would be pressed? I guess I'm asking who would be his target then.
Oh, you stumped me on that one, Pat. Wow, I really can't answer that one.
Oh, I mean, man, that's cool. That's cool because I guess.
Let me mesh everything together then.
Okay.
Now you have, say, those big three of the religions, right? The Christianity, the Muslim, and then the Torah or whatever, right?
Right.
And then you have the Saudi Grand Prince or something like that, right?
Right.
Then you got Japan and China, and then there's no borders from my man Mark and all from Anaheim.
True.
They're all on the same team. They're going against the melanin, knowing that the melanin dominates the whole planet. Even though there's 71% here and then a few other percents there, we dominate. Melanin rules the world.
Yes, it does. I mean, and I mean, obviously not in an economic type way, but in a spiritual way. Sort of like what Morpheus said, we are still here. I mean, there's been, well, look at it. You've had scientists make ethno-specific viruses, HIV. You have scientists injecting people with syphilis and other. That's the things that we know about. Don't forget about all the experiments we don't know about. And then you have the society as a whole. Whenever you have a bad day, find a black man and kick him dead in the ass type mentality. So there's a lot of things against this, but what you said is still true, brother. We are still a power to be reckoned with.
I'm with you, brother. And before I go, let me just give you this particular analogy. It's called the knockout game. It happened more or less back in the 80s when Reagan and, Bush Sr. was around with that garbage. We were going into the neighborhoods, knocking them out because we had to get to those shopping marts and all. We were on bikes at the time. So that'll be all, my good youngin'. 72 every day, all day. Best years ever. Color TV and black and white at the same time. Hotep, my brother.
Hotep, brother. Man.
My brother, in transmission.
Roger that. That was Brother David calling in. Awesome. What I want to add to what we were talking about today, and this applies to wherever you're at in your spiritual walk, whether you're not, spiritual or whatever. At the end of the day, whatever you're doing, just make sure you're cool with it. Make sure it sits right on you. If you're out here cheating people, messing over people, man, I'm telling you, that will catch up to you. But if you're out here sincerely trying to help people, trying to understand people, trying to better yourself as you do it, I tell you that as well. That is fruitful, and that's good for you. So with that being said, this has been a great broadcast. And we're still about the hour mark, and I like that. This has been Special Report TPIM SR Live. Yes, with crowd, 100% participation. I want to thank all the chatters, everyone for showing up. Love you all. Peace, love, and light to you. As always, live your life with integrity, without hate, envy, or greed. And as always, let's try to be kinder to each other. Peace.